Welcome back to District of Control, where the architecture is fake, the history is patched, and your tour guide, just a couple of cosmic truth slingers with X-ray vision. Let's begin our walking tour through whitewash and wreckage. Our first stop, the so-called White House, or as we like to call it, version 3.0. Originally marble, ancestral, and built before 1792, it stood like a gem in the Capitol grid. Until the War of 1812 and its suspiciously targeted accidental fire in 1814. Oops, how convenient. The post-blaze repairs? Not a rebuild, just a cover-up. They didn't have the craftsmanship to match the original marble, so they slapped on some soft porous sandstone. Easy to carve, easy to transport, terrible for weather. So what do you do when your building starts to crumble? You smother it in lime-based whitewash. Forever. Whitewash started in 1798. Oddly, before the building was even supposedly completed. Time-traveling painters? Maybe. Or just damage control in advance? Most likely. Making the mix-match stone look more samesies. Fast forward to the 1990s. Restoration teams were still patching with epoxy, but not too much because the stone needs to breathe. Yes, like skin or truth. Also, metal pins, probably cast iron, were used to bind sandstone to marble. And guess what? They're corroding, rusting from the inside out. So every few decades, whitewash, patch, band-aid, repeat. A decaying monument to a decaying truth. But wait, there's more. Ever heard of the fire on Christmas Eve, 1929? No? That's because they don't talk about it. According to the official story, a fire broke out in the West Wing just as Herbert Hoover was president and just before the Great Depression really got cooking. Supposedly, the fire was accidental during a Christmas dinner. Allegedly. Reportedly. Maybe Santa dropped a lit cigar on his way out of the Situation chimney. We may never know. But what is crystal clear? That fire gave them the perfect excuse to gut and rebuild the West Wing from the inside out. Probably laying down reinforced concrete, establishing underground bunker facilities, and constructing what would become the modern-day war wing. The timing? Suspicious. The location? Too perfect. The narrative? Charred and sugar-coated like a gingerbread alibi. The truth is, the White House isn't just crumbling on the outside, it's been restructured from the inside out. Patched with epoxy, tied with rusting metal, and rebuilt in secret. Merry Christmas. Moving along to the Great Sky Needle, the Washington Monument. The mainstream myth says they ran out of funding in the 1800s and had to wait years to finish it. But funding wasn't the problem. The original structure was destroyed. It was never meant to be an obelisk. It was a mooring tower, like those across the world used to dock advanced flying craft. The original blueprints show a full Pantheon-style base with round columns surrounding it. Today, that base still exists, stripped bare. The columns are gone. The purpose? Erased. Nearby structures like a tiny stone reception building also disappeared. Wonder why? What we have now is a mismatched stone, hollow concrete toothpick that serves zero function. built over sacred tech and wrapped in patriotic theater. Next up, the Jefferson Memorial, or as we call it, Dome a la Betty Crocker. The dome wasn't carved, it wasn't even assembled with stone. It was poured like a bundt cake. Photographic proof exists of the mold framework used to pour the concrete dome, replicating the original design but cheapening the soul of the structure. The result? A hollow tribute to a hollow myth, reassembled with stage props and sacred geometry knockoffs. Now let's descend onto the ellipse, or what's left of it. Tucked behind the White House, it's been seen as a sad patch of grass turned into baseball fields. But go back to the 1970s aerial photos and you'll see it. The faint elliptical foundation that once held a grand ring of columns. Even more compelling, the dot, dot, dot patterns in the grass. Column foundations left exposed, leading inward like spokes of a wheel. We believe the interior held a reflecting pool, and likely a central statue, much like Chicago's Lost Columbia exhibit. This wasn't just a lawn, it was a gathering site of resonance, beauty, and sacred alignment, reduced to a picnic ground, a mirror turned to mulch. Ah, the National Cathedral. Unlike the others, it doesn't pretend to be from the 1700s. Its timeline is openly 20th century, but the structure, not so new. The cross-section, the bones of the cathedral feel far older, likely ancestral, but the embellishments, the towers, the pediments, the detailed Gothic frosting all added later, using concrete molds, not carved, not sacred, just cast. You can even see scaffolding in the restoration photos today because the concrete is cracking, because it always does, because it's not built to last. And the original resonating dome, gone, replaced by a crusty steeple. And here's the kicker. There's an artist's rendition here showing the cathedral with a central dome, a drawing that was never used. It was described as too ornate. Right. More like a memory disguised as a concept. It was real. It was removed. So, what do all these places have in common? Faux stone patchwork, lost domes, cast iron band-aids, concrete molds, and a chronic inability to recreate what they destroyed. These aren't monuments to freedom. They're mausoleums of memory. The ancestors built with resonance, with symmetry, with intention. And these imitators, they built with plaster, epoxy, and lies. The District of Control isn't just a place, it's a blueprint for amnesia, for deception, for the slow erosion of truth beneath the weight of concrete dreams.